Assalamu alaikum and welcome to the Halal Times YouTube channel. Today it's my pleasure to present an exclusive interview with Ambassador Osmar Chohfi, the president of the Arab Brazilian Chamber of Commerce in Sao Paulo. This year, as the chamber commemorates its 71st anniversary, Ambassador Chohfi is at the forefront, steering its transition into the digital era. His visionary leadership is evident in the chamber's expansion strategy, focusing on key global hubs, including Brazil's capital, Brasilia, along with Dubai, Riyadh, and Cairo. This strategic growth is not just about enhancing Brazil Arab trade relations, it's also about forging new pathways in innovation and technology, creating a bridge between two richly diverse cultures. Let's welcome, ladies and gentlemen, Ambassador Osmar Chohfi.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you so much for the opportunity to speak with you, sir, today. And it's really an honor for us to be here. And I'm really happy to be at Brazilian Chamber of Commerce. So, could it be possible for you, please, to give us a brief introduction of who you are as a professional and what is a Brazilian Chamber of Commerce? What does it do, sir?
Well, my name is Osmar Chohfi. I was born in Sao Paulo, and after I finished law school, I decided to follow the diplomatic career. So I present myself to the admission exam to the diplomatic academy. I was accepted. And after 2 years, I was appointed at the first stage of the diplomatic service of the Brazilian Foreign Ministry. And my diplomatic career was very much um, concentrated in the Latin American issues and themes, but I had a uh, very diversified experience in the foreign ministry. I worked in many different areas, and one of the areas that I worked, one of the posts that I had abroad was related to the promotion of the Brazilian foreign trade. In terms of that I had different positions in the foreign ministry, especially in the Americas departments. But I was also ambassador to Ecuador, ambassador to Spain, consul general in New York. And after I retired, um, I came back to São Paulo, which is my home city. Uh, and 2 or 3 years after I was living in Sao Paulo, after my retirement, the board of the Arab Brazilian Chamber of Commerce invited me to join it. My family had a tradition in this chamber. My father was one of the founders. And a great uncle and a cousin were presidents of this chamber. My family always belonged to the private sector, mainly textiles and building companies. But I decided to go to the Foreign Service, and for 46 years I was a career diplomat in the Brazilian Foreign Service. Well, so as I mentioned, after coming to São Paulo, I was invited to join the board. I joined the board in 2015. First, I was vice president for international relations due to my experience, my previous experience, and in 2020, I was elected president of the board. And on my second term, that will finish in January 2025. So you asking me what's the purpose of the Arab Brazilian Chamber of Commerce? Yes. The main purpose of our chamber, which is 70 years old already, 70 years old, a very traditional chamber of commerce here in São Paulo in Brazil, the main purpose is to promote trade and economic cooperation uh, between Brazil and the 22 countries that are members of the Arab League. Apart from this main purpose, we have two other purposes that are also important. We have a social department, a social and cultural department, do some social and cultural activities too, because we think it is important. It's a kind of soft power, huh? The Brazilian soft power, which is important, and that also can have its significance in terms. It helps to also to promote trade and economic cooperation. So that's the main purpose of it. To do that, we work very well coordinated with the Brazilian private sector, the Brazilian companies, but also with the government of Brazil, different agencies of the government of Brazil. Uh, Apart from our home office in São Paulo, we have an office in Brasilia, which is the Brazilian capital. We have an office in a very important port in southern Brazil, Itajaí, from where very important amount of our exports of animal protein go to the Arab world. And we have two international offices, one in Dubai and the other one in Cairo. And we hope in the near future to open a branch in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. The trade between Brazil and the Arab world has been growing consistently for many, many years. In 2022, our trade with the Arab countries amounted to more than $32 billion, which is very significant for the Brazilian foreign trade. It's around 6-7% of the Brazilian foreign trade. And some data that we have show that perhaps this year, 2023, it will amount to 10% of the Brazilian foreign trade. So the Arab world is a very important trade partner for Brazil, especially in the area of commodities. Brazil is a very important actor for the food security of the Arab world. Some countries import almost 80% of the animal protein they consume, they import from Brazil. So, but there are other, apart from the animal protein, the bovine and poultry, of, of course, we export other things. Sugar is a very important item in our balance of trade with the Arab world, sugar, soya, corn, coffee, but also we are a very important supplier of iron ore for some Arab countries. So that the trade is very much concentrated in around here, I would say 5 or 6 important items, products, but also we try, and that's one of the main aims of the RSM, to diversify the trade to introduce more value-added products, products with more value-added component. Um, and also we try to promote bilateral investments, Arab investments in Brazil, and help Brazilian companies to become international in the Arab world, to internationalize Brazilian companies and, let's say, introduce them to the Arab world, which is a very important market, also in many economic sectors. Uh, so our activity in the chamber is very, very diversified. Um, Now about halal. Why we organized the Global Halal Brazil Business Forum? Because we all know, of course, that the halal is a very important uh, issue for the Arab consumers. And Brazil today is perhaps the most important exporter of halal products to the Arab world. all the products that I mentioned before, especially the animal protein, but others too, cosmetics, for instance. We decided some years ago, 3 years ago, I think, or more, 4 years ago, that halal was a market that we should explore more. And to do